And good evening, everybody, and welcome here as we get ready for race number 13 of the season of the NNSCRA Almond Joy Series. We are getting close to crunch time as the chase for the championship continues to head towards its wind-down period. After today's race, we'll have only 7 races left for the Almond Joy drivers to try and make their way into the chase for the championship. So today, equally as important a race as the upcoming 7 races will be. And we're at a track that holds some very fond memories for me. Back in the retired Oreo Truck Series, Mobile Cup Series, and Snickers Cup Series, this was a track that more often than not kind of served as the Richmond of all 3 series. It was the last race of the regular season, pretty much led up to the chase for the championship, kind of set our chase field. And so, to me, this is a racetrack that brings about the kind of racing that really can impact who is going to be making the chase and who isn't. And even as early on here in the season, as we have it on the schedule, it could do just that here today, as well as in tomorrow's Hershey's Cup Series race. But as we get ready to go green flag racing here for 27 laps of racing, you'll notice that there's actually an opportunity not only for a driver to be able to get themselves their first win of the season, maybe put themselves in the championship picture, but there are a lot of former winners from this season starting up inside of the top 10 for this race. Case in point, J Kurtis, our winner 2 weeks ago from Darlington, rolls off 3rd. Nick Johnson, our winner from Tula, is 4th. J Finguy, our winner from Texas, rolls off in 5th. Brooke Allen, our Dover race winner, 7th. Zachariah Hall, our Las Vegas race winner, lines up in 8th. And our winner from Infineon, Joseph Romero, lines up in 9th. So that is a total of 6 drivers inside the top 10 for the start of this race that have already found victory lane this season. A second win could tie them with most wins this season with Matthew Dallio, and more than likely confirm them a spot in the chase for the championship, provided they can stay inside the top 30 in the points. But take a look at the front row. A couple of people who have not been to victory lane yet this season. The pole sitter, Elijah Gordon, and the outside pole sitter, Cody Smart. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens in this one. Without further ado, it's time to get these cars rolling off. They'll complete their pace lap, and we'll put them under green for 27 laps of racing, as it looks like the graphics issue is going to happen here. I don't know what it is with this racetrack, but on the front straightaway, it really seems to have a problem, at least for the first few laps, and then it settles out as the race goes on. So you may see that flash happen the first couple of laps in the front straightaway. If it happens, I do apologize. There's really nothing I can do about it. It seems to happen with this track. I don't really understand it, but we're not going to let it get to us. We're in for a good race. Eric Hayden comes in as the points leader. He's yet to find victory lane this season, as is A Stoudimere Jr, who's actually jumped up to 2nd in points. He's been really consistent the last few weeks as that 88 car, so we'll keep an eye on him. Then you got a couple of former winners, 3rd and 4th in points. Benny Watson, our winner from Bristol Dirt. J Kurtis, our winner 2 weeks ago at Darlington. They're 3rd and 4th in stands. Ryan George is 5th. Got him, who hasn't gone to victory lane. Kev Shear hasn't gone to victory lane. He's 6th in points. Paul Minnick hasn't gone to victory lane. He's 7th in points. Then Nick Johnson in 8th, our winner from Tula. Then Nick Gunther and Richard Johnson. That is your top 10. Cody Smart, outside pole sitter, 11th in the point standings. Elijah Gordon, the pole sitter, he is 32nd in the standings. So really needs a good run today. As here we go, 27 laps at Arizona. Green flag is out and we're underway. Yeah, there you see right there, right in the entrance into turn 1. The second half of the front straightaway is where that happens. Look at this, 3 wide, and J Finguy, big run on the inside line, up the inside, moves all the way up to 2nd, and he's thinking about taking the lead going into 3. And he will do so. J Finguy looks like he'll lead the first lap, but they're getting crazy back here. Brooke Allen, Cody Smart's been moved way up to the high side. He's dropping back. J Kurtis about the same for him. Battle on for 2nd between Brooke Allen and Elijah Gordon. Joseph Romero going to stick it down 3 wide. Oh, in trouble! Brooke Allen up and into the wall with Elijah Gordon. Brooke Allen flipping, barrel rolling in turn 2. Caution will fly. I think those might have been the only 2 involved, Gordon and Allen. Oh my goodness. And Finguy is going to come down, and he's going to lead under our first yellow flag. That was right up at the front of the field. That was a battle for 2nd. It's a wonder we didn't have more drivers involved, but a wild ride for Brooke Allen. Elijah Gordon hitting the wall hard as well. That may be it for the pole sitter. And Brooke Allan, after her win at Dover, I mean, she's had some pretty good she had a good finish at Darlington. She's moved herself up to 23rd in points, and it was looking like it was going to be some good momentum for that team. All of a sudden, it's gone south in a hurry. We're under caution for the first time here today at Arizona. Let's take a look and see what happened. Well, here it is, heading down into turn number 1. Joseph Romero's going to stick his nose to the inside, 3 wide. And I'm not sure if Brooke Allan saw that and then thought she was clear on Elijah Gordon or not, but she clearly was not clear. Gordon's left rear, or left front was there. She just drives up right into him, puts him up into the wall, but she gets the worst of this impact. Hits the wall several times, and then the car goes onto its side. Then begins a series of barrel rolls, and like I said, it's a wonder that those two cars stayed up the racetrack when they were running that close to the front of the field. I mean, there was every possibility that those two cars could have slid back down the racetrack, and we could have had a huge multi-car wreck in the turn 1, turn 2 vicinity, maybe even stretching to the middle of the back straightaway. And I've just gotten word that the crews of the 0 and the 2 team are being separated on pit road by NNSCRA officials. Apparently there's some kind of a fight going on down there, so we'll try and cover more of that as we go back to live action and the restart. So we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing on lap 7 of 27 as we've been given the 1 to go signal. From what I understand, the kerfuffle on pit road has been, at least for now, it's been qualmed. But from what I'm hearing, it sounds like Elijah Gordon's crew, they only had to travel up pit road about 6 pit stalls, and they got into it with the Reynolds Wrap team of the 0 of Brooke Allan, and now I'm being told that the driver, crew chief, and car owners of both teams, both Elijah Gordon's and Brooke Allan's teams, are being called to the NNSCRA hauler as soon as Brooke Allan and Elijah Gordon are checked and released from the infield care center, as both of them have retired from the race. I can kind of understand Elijah Gordon with the season he's been having and having the opportunity at some good starting track position being upset. There was no way Brooke Allan was clear on him. And as the chase draws nearer and opportunities continue to chip away and continue to fall away, it's when the tensions begin to run high as Jeffrey Finguy will bring us to the green flag, and we're back underway. We got a Toyota top 3, Finguy, Romero, and there you see John Andrews stepping out of line for the 2nd position. And he will take the position away. As of right now, we have 3 former winners inside of the top 5, Finguy, Romero, and, well, we did. J Kurtis was running in 5th, but he's lost that spot to J Jefferson, who now is moving for 4th place off of Joseph Romero. DJ Kurtis following in the tire tracks there. John Andrews all over the back bumper of Jeffrey Finguy, with P Minnick trying to reel in the top 2. Another guy back here that actually we should keep tabs on, that's actually running pretty well and needs to run well here today, and that's Zachariah Hall, our winner from very early on in the season at Las Vegas. Zachariah Hall comes into this race 33rd in the point dance, which means his win at Las Vegas would not count towards a chase spot, so he's got to keep himself up here inside the top 10, try and get a good finish. I believe I just saw the yellow lights on. I think we're under caution again, and indeed that is the case. Caution flag out for the 2nd time here at Arizona. Not a track that you typically have a lot of yellow flags at. It looks like there was an incident right there heading into turn 3 just off the exit of the back straightaway. Ryan George back here. Nick Johnson, Davey Johnson, not sure if they may have anything to do with it. Looks like a little bit of damage there on the hood of the 52 of Mitchell Carter. Carter had a poor showing 2 weeks ago at Darlington. And I can't tell if anybody else was involved. Nobody's on pit road, so if it was any kind of a big incident, it really didn't cause a whole lot of havoc, it seems, a lot of damaged race cars or anything like that. So Finguy gets the luxury of pacing the field under yellow for a second stint. Let's take a look and see what happened over in the turn 3 entrance. Wow, an extremely tight situation coming off of turn number 2. Davey Johnson running the high line. It's like Jonathan Zorland's going to put his nose to the inside, and then Jeremy Jones just ahead of Davey Johnson just kind of seemed to get out of the throttle. Davey Johnson had to react, and when he did that, got on the brakes, and Zorland was not on the brakes and just gets him in the left rear. Spins him around right in front of Nick Johnson. Now, Nick Johnson was going to avoid this, but right there you see Ryan George never hit the brakes, and he just runs into the passenger side of the 42. Here comes Kev Shearer in the 14. I think he's going to get a piece of it right there. Mitchell Carter gets involved. Not sure about Matthew Dalio. I think he may have gotten through that, did our 2-time winner. So it looks like for the most part it was a 5-car incident involving Davey Johnson, Nick Johnson, Ryan George, Kev Shearer, and Mitchell Carter. So that is what put us under the caution. Definitely not nearly the kind of hard hits that we saw in the first caution, but was enough to bring the yellow flag out nonetheless. Let's go back to green. And Jeffrey Finguy is coming to pit road, but this is not a scheduled stop. He's giving up the race lead, and it's sounding like there is something mechanical wrong, and he has just retired his car from the race. That is huge for Jeffrey Finguy. He got himself to the front very early on in this thing, never looked back. He did have a challenge from John Andrews, but pretty much turned back that challenge with the help of that second yellow flag, and now he's out of the race, and John Andrews inherits the race lead. Also important to point out that during that second caution, only one driver willingly came to pit road, and that was Connor Breton in the 17, who was running at the time up inside the top 20. So could there be pit strategy being played out by Connor Breton and that 17 crew, perhaps expecting that this thing may go into a long green flag run to the end, and fuel strategy could be a factor. Remember, nobody came to pit road under the first caution. Nobody really came to pit road under the second caution, with the exception of Jeffrey Finguy having to come down for some kind of mechanical issue. And I believe, well, I don't know if even Davey Johnson, Nick Johnson, and Ryan George even came to pit road. It may have just been the 17 car. Lights are out. Top pace car will go back green. There is Breton, running behind drivers that were involved in our last caution. So I would say to me that Connor Breton was the only driver to come to pit road willingly under this, our latest yellow. So the question is, can all these drivers make it another 25 laps on fuel? They've had 2 cautions in which to be able to utilize clutching, try and save a little, but is it enough to get them to the checkered flag? It will be 25, or make that 15, I should say, laps to go when we get back to the stripe. Not 25, so 15 sounds a little bit easier for these drivers. And John Andrews trying to pick up his first win of the season here in the Almond Joy Series. DJ Kurtis was a first-time winner 2 weeks ago at Darlington. Brooke Allan, a first-time winner a few weeks ago at Dover. Chris Dollerton, a first-time winner. As a matter of fact, we've had 12 races and 11 different race winners. And keep in mind, there's only 12 available spots in this season's Chase for the Championship for the Almond Joy Series. Here we go then, 15 laps left to go in this race. Can these drivers make it on fuel? Green flag back out. John Andrews, the new race leader, gets us back underway. By the way, folks, you're going to want to tune in next week as well. Of course, we've got the Hershey's Cup Series here tomorrow at Arizona, but next week both series head to more dirt track racing at Springfield Mile. That is going to be a crazy race for sure. A crazy couple of races, I should say. You're going to want to tune into that one. John Andrews has checked out with the race lead, and they're going to go 3 wide for third. Jesse Turner down the inside of DJ Kurtis. who nearly got hooked by Joseph Romero. That was close. Angel Navarro now going to move by Jesse Turner, move him up to the 3rd position. Got a lot of Toyotas actually up here in this race. You had Finguy leading a good portion of this. Now he's turned the lead over to another Toyota and John Andrews. You've got Joseph Romero up here at the front. Angel Navarro, J Jefferson there. A lot of Toyota power. There's J Qualls moving up to 4th, our winner from Atlanta. Trying to become a 2-time winner here. Join Matthew Dalio. He now is in firm control of 4th place for the moment. And how about Jonathan Rains? Nice run right now for the 46. A well-needed run. Jonathan Rains was up inside the top 10 in the points for a good majority of the season early on. He's now found himself all the way down in 26th place. Things have really gone south for that team. They need a good run here today to get themselves back into trim to try and get themselves a trip to victory lane and get into this chase for the championship. Just lost a spot to Romero. That drops him back, I believe, to the 6th position. As John Andrews may want to look in his rearview mirror because here comes Paul Minnick. Paul Minnick, you remember, was really strong near the beginning of the season, but he's still been consistent. I mean, he's 7th in the point standings, but he just has not been able to close the deal to be able to get to victory lane. John Andrews, on the other hand, he comes into this race 20th in the point standing, so he could definitely use a good run. And look who's running right behind them, Angel Navarro in the 25 car, and Navarro comes into this race outside of the top 35 in the point standing. So think about who wants it more. Is Ryan George going to be a bit of an issue there for the race leaders? Andrews clears, Minnick clears, but Navarro does not, and he's going to lose 3rd place to J Qualls. Now gets to the inside, so he'll try going around, and now Joseph Romero going to have a little bit of difficulty with the 85. Ryan George getting involved in that incident that brought us under our 2nd caution, and now he's holding up Jonathan Rains and Zachariah Hall. Remember, we were talking about Zachariah Hall outside of the top 30 in the point stands, needing a good run. Well, I don't think he's going to be too thrilled with Ryan George after this race. John Andrews still leads. Minnick in 2nd, and J Qualls has gotten quite a run after he got around Navarro with using Ryan George for a pick. Now he's reeling in the top 2. That car has come alive here in the 2nd half of this race. J Qualls 12th in the point standings. He was inside the top 10 in the point standings heading into 2 weeks ago's race at Darlington, but then lost 6 spots, dropped to 12th, has an opportunity to get himself back into the top 10. He's up in the top 3 right now. Qualls has been to victory lane at Atlanta. Andrews and Minnick have not, so you can bet they're going to be doing a lot of defensive driving against that Castrol GTX Chevrolet. Long ways back before you get to 4th place, Angel Navarro. Unless some miracle happens, maybe some more lap traffic holding up the leaders or something, I'm not certain Navarro can get back in it. Romero is in 5th, and how about Jordan Lopez, our winner from Talladega, all of a sudden is up in the top 10 after the help of that now lap machine of Ryan George. He's up to 6th. Kurtis is in 7th. 8th is J Jefferson, and look who's up to 9th. I said watch out for that 88 of A Stoudimere Jr. 2nd in the points, has been really consistent. He's now up in 9th place with teammate K Jazzin in 10th. And as soon as I say that, Jazzin just lost the 10th spot to Jesse Turner. J Qualls has moved around Paul Minnick. That is for the 2nd position. Now the question is, can Qualls reel in John Andrews? One thing that is benefiting John Andrews is the ticking away of these laps. There's 5 laps to go, and now the battle's on for 2nd again between Minnick and Qualls. That's going to allow John Andrews to maybe open his gap up a little bit more. Minnick moves into 2nd, Qualls falls back to 3rd, and here comes Angel Navarro now with an opportunity to maybe work his way up, possibly as high as 2nd place before this race is over. And do I guys just see me, or is Davey Johnson up inside the top 10? That car was spun around in turn 2 that brought out our 2nd caution. He's fought his way all the way now up into the top 10. What a comeback for the Florida Lottery Chevrolet. Wow. Amazing job of comeback there for that team as J Qualls lost second place to Minnick. Now he's about to lose third place to A Navarro, as it is still John Andrews showing the way, and we have a total, I believe, of 3 laps to go. Indeed we do. Barring any fuel issues, John Andrews looks like he may be home free. He's got himself about a 4/10 of a second advantage between himself and Paul Minnick. And that gap does not appear, at least visibly, to be closing up in any way. 2 laps to go for John Andrews. I thought I heard an engine up ahead. That is Ryan George. I don't think they're going to encounter him before this race is over. Ryan George, a lap down, but I do not think he's going to play a factor in the outcome of this race, because we've only got about 6 more corners to go, and they were roughly about a third of the way behind, a third of the racetrack behind that 85 machine. The white flag is displayed for John Andrews. Paul Minnick, A Navarro in that fight for second place, but John Andrews given a gift, if you will, by J Finguy when Finguy had a mechanical problem. And John Andrews took over the race lead and has not looked back. Out of turn 4 for the final time, John Andrews becomes the 12th different race winner in 13 races. He'll take the checkered flag here tonight at Arizona Speedway. And now, after coming into this race 20th in the point standings, has John Andrews put his name into the picture for clinching one of those spots in this season's chase for the championship. We shall soon find out. A Navarro able to grab second, so it's a Toyota 1-2 finish. Minnick gets third. 4th place for Qualls. And how about Jordan Lopez? Great run for him in the 5th position. A well-needed run for him as well, as he has a win at Talladega and he came in 19th in points. This will help move him up in the standings for sure. Pit stall spazzing out there. Well, that's kind of interesting. Joseph Romero, nice run for him. Another well-needed run for that team as they continue to try and climb their way away from 30th in the point standings. He'll get 6th. 7th place is going to be, how about Mike Becker? Never talked about the 98 today. Sorry for all that spastic stuff. I don't get what that's going on there. He's going to get 7th place, that is. 8th place, A Stoudimere Jr., so another solid outing for the 88 team. They just got to find victory lane. I think they may have themselves a chase spot. J Jefferson's going to get 9th. And completing your top 10, how about the comeback for Davey Johnson? That is an unbelievable feat to fight your way all the way back up to 10th place after you were the reason for the last caution coming out. Unbelievable job for that team. Chris Dollerton, nice run for him. Dollerton, along with Zachariah Hall, was one of the 2 drivers with a win this season that's outside the top 30 in points. So maybe this 11th place will move him further up in the point standings, closer towards 30th in points, and get himself back into the championship chase picture. Then you got the 90 of Julio Cesar. Nice run for him in 12th. Mitchell Carter. I'm sorry, not Mitchell Carter. K Tsang. My mind went blank for a minute. K Tsang going to get a great run in 13th. K Jazzin fell back but finished 14th. Colin Denton's going to get 15th. 16th for Jonathan Zorlin. D Kurtis kind of faded back here in the later stages. Back to 17th. 18th place Nick Gunther. 19th Jesse Turner. And completing your top 20 was Grayson Acevedo. Zachariah Hall fought back for 21st. Definitely somewhat mediocre, but still a kind of good finish for Hall, considering the fact that he really lost a lot of positions thanks to the lap machine of Ryan George. Eric Heiden, the points leader coming into this race, finishing way back there in 22nd. So I'm not so certain. We may have a change for the points leader. Maury Stoudimere Jr. may be the points leader heading into next week's race at Springfield. Then it was Benny Watson finishing, or I'm sorry, Seth Cole rather, finishing in 23rd, 24th for Benny Watson, 25th for Nick Johnson. Cody Smart gets 26th after starting on the outside of the front row. William Brock gets 27th, 28th for Richard Johnson. Jonathan Rains finished way back in 29th after he got held up as well behind Ryan George at one point. And Cody Hagen He completes the top 30. Then it was Kev Shearer, Tyler Markel, Jeremy Jones, Matthew Dallio, and Mitchell Carter. They were the last cars to finish on the lead lap. Connor Breton finished one lap down to the race leaders, so tough break for him. He was trying some kind of pit strategy, I thought. Well, maybe it was more than that. Maybe it was mechanical. Finishing one lap down in 37th, that was Ryan George. And then finishing out of the race due to a mechanical issue in 38th after leading about the first third of this race, J Finguy, and then two cars finished out of the race, them being Brooke Allen and Elijah Gordon. It'll be interesting to see what happens between those two in the upcoming week, as apparently some tempers flare in between those two drivers as early as lap number 2. But that is what's going to finish out today's race. That's your finishing order. Thank you all for tuning in to today's race here from Arizona. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, become part of the crew today. Up next, we'll be showing your point standings heading to next week, but we got to finish off this week with Hershey's Cup Series from Arizona, and then both series head to Springfield Mile next week. So, hope you'll tune in for those, as you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best. For me, the spastic pit stalls, and all that other stuff, I'm Seth Cole, signing off.